Welcome, my friends. Amazon is pursuing too many ideas and needs to focus on best opportunities, analyst says in letter to Jassy. Bernstein analysts published a report on Wednesday that they called an open letter to CEO Andy Jassy and the board. In the note, they detailed many of the areas where Amazon has invested without seeing positive results and said the company needs to focus on what it does best. What we've seen recently is a company simply pursuing too many ideas, with weaker ideas taking resources away from businesses that work, they wrote. As you know, the list of tech companies laying off employees just continues to get longer. Amazon has now cut 27,000 job positions. What does it mean for Amazon? What does it mean for big tech companies? What does it mean for the economy? And what does it mean for the future of the United States? But before we get into all of that, please press the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. And before we continue, a word from the sponsor of this video. Today's sponsor is InnerLife.com, creator of the InnerLife STS system. InnerLife STS is a cloud mobile platform for mental health care and its integration with primary medical care. InnerLife STS is designed for assessment, data collection and analytics, documentation, and progress tracking. InnerLife STS creates and composes conceptualized narratives and builds them into professional-grade reports. These reports are designed for use by mental health professionals, primary care physicians, justice system professionals and universities and include mental health assessment reports, mental health treatment reports, and treatment progress reports. And InnerLife STS uses doctor-selected pseudonames for all patients. So, only the healthcare professional knows the patient identity. In its quest to upend everything from healthcare and grocery stores to internet satellites, Amazon has become too unfocused and is missing out on opportunities in its core businesses, according to Bernstein analysts, who on Wednesday published what they called an open letter to CEO Andy Jassy and the board. Amazon remains dominant in e-commerce and cloud computing with Amazon Web Services. In some other areas, however, the company has spent heavily without seeing the results, the analyst said. We fully support Amazon's efforts to uncover and capture the next AWS-sized opportunity, wrote Bernstein's Mark Shmulik, who has an outperform rating on the stock. But what we've seen recently is a company simply pursuing too many ideas, with weaker ideas taking away the oxygen, capital, and most importantly focus from the truly disruptive initiatives that only Amazon can do. Amazon's stock performance compared with its closest mega-cap peers, Apple, Microsoft and Google, has also left investors wanting, Shmulik said. Amazon shares are up 50% year-to-date, but they've underperformed top peers by about 52% over a 5-year period, he said. The stock was down 3.6% to $122.12 as of early afternoon New York time. Shmulik urged Amazon to get back to its day one mentality, referring to a phrase championed by Amazon founder and executive chairman Jeff Bezos, who was succeeded by Jassy in July 2021. Bezos famously said a day one mentality would help Amazon stave off its demise, and described it as continuing to innovate rapidly like a startup, no matter how large the company becomes. Day two is stasis, Bezos said in a 2017 shareholder letter. Followed by irrelevance. Followed by excruciating, painful decline. Followed by death. And that is why it is always day one. Amazon should divest, seek outside funding, or trim spend, in healthcare and its nascent low Earth orbit satellite venture, called Project Kuiper, Shmulik wrote. He pointed to Amazon's multi-year effort to break into healthcare, before abandoning efforts like its Care telehealth service, Halo Health and Fitness Band, and a joint healthcare venture called Haven. Kuiper appears even more extreme as an investment area, according to Shmulik, with Amazon committing $10 billion to build out the initiative. Google's lack of success with its Project Loon, Fiber and Fi effort signals, capital-intensive low-margin utilities aren't worth the effort regardless of how cool the technology may be, he wrote. Amazon should even take a page out of Alphabet's book and strip out Kuiper, healthcare and possibly Alexa into other bets. Doing so, he says, would show a far healthier and more profitable core business, and wouldn't detract from the company's effort to build the next AWS. Shmulik is also skeptical of Amazon's ongoing efforts to expand in international markets like Brazil, Singapore and India, where competition remains stiff. He calls it a case of throwing good money after bad, despite the strategic value that those markets may hold. When it comes to Whole Foods, fresh supermarkets and go cashierless convenience stores, Amazon needs to make a call on physical grocery, Shmulek wrote. Amazon bought Whole Foods for $13.7 billion in 2017, and has continued to build out its grocery offerings on its website, while launching other experimental shops. Recently, the company paused further expansion of its Fresh and Go stores as Jassy looks to cut costs. Instead of continuing to tinker with its Fresh and Go stores, Shmulek said Amazon should purchase a proven concept such as potential divested KRACI stores, referring to the stores Kroger and Albertsons are selling off as part of their planned merger. Amazon should focus on its core strengths and keep pushing into other areas where it's gained traction, Shmulek said, encouraging a continued build-out of its advertising and media arms, as well as its Buy with Prime service, which allows websites off of Amazon to take advantage of its Prime delivery benefits. The current scattershot approach is confusing to shareholders and needs to be cleared up to stem continued underperformance, Shmulek added, calling out uncertainty around where Amazon falls in the artificial intelligence race. We get investor questions today asking, is AWS in last place in AI? Is retail actually a profitable business? And even, do we want Andy on the earnings call? Shmulek wrote. It points to one underlying issue. Amazon doesn't own its own narrative. In his letter, Jassy said the company had spent several months analyzing businesses and determining whether we had conviction about each initiative's long-term potential to bolster revenue and operating income. Regarding the international expansion, Jassy said, these new countries take a certain amount of fixed investment to get started and to scale, but we like the trajectory they're on. The letter said the company needs a broader physical store footprint to serve more people in the grocery market and, in terms of Kuiper, the business represents a very large potential opportunity for Amazon, and is initially capital intensive, similar to AWS. Amazon's first quarter earnings call shed light on the company's shifting investments following leadership's decision to cut a whopping 27,000 jobs. The widespread cuts, which severely diminished the tech giant's HR team, were said to be an effort to help streamline costs. Amazon began its latest layoffs last week, targeting HR and cloud computing employees. And an internal memo sent to Amazon Web Services, Oz, hiring managers on Tuesday revealed that the company would restrict the number of hires the cloud business can make, going so far as to employ a new headcount management system to better monitor hiring plans. Late last year, the company announced it would freeze corporate hiring, slow the expansion of its warehouses, and end some of its more experimental projects like Amazon Care and its Halo device division. Like most leadership teams, we'll continue to evaluate what we're seeing in our business and proceed adaptively, said Amazon CEO Andy Jassy during the Thursday earnings call. But while we've taken several actions to streamline our costs, we've been able to do so while still pursuing the key strategic long-term investments that we believe can meaningfully make customers' lives better and potentially change what Amazon is, Jassy continued. This means that Amazon will invest more heavily into non-core businesses as growth slows among its signature e-commerce services. During the earnings call, Jassy said, Amazon would expand its international segment and pour more resources into its still nascent grocery business. Jassy also confirmed that Amazon plans to further develop its Buy with Prime program, entertainment, devices, healthcare, and its low Earth orbit satellite, Project Kuiper, to help people, companies, and governments with limited to no internet access. Areas in which the company appeared to be still hiring earlier this year included its Ring doorbell and pharmacy businesses, and it's still listing job openings for engineers, supply chain managers, and sales representatives. It's hard to predict that all of these will be successful, but only one or two working would change our business over the long term, said Jassy. As you may also know, Amazon is experiencing a high number of injuries at its fulfillment warehouses. The reasons for the high number of workplace injuries in Amazon warehouses are complex and multifaceted. Like a lot of other big tech companies, Amazon went on a hiring spree during the COVID-19 pandemic. As such, Amazon had to keep up with a pandemic-driven increase in online shopping. But since the pandemic has come to an end and the economy has opened up again, Amazon slowed headcount growth. Now, many consumers have returned to physical stores. And as a result, growth of Amazon's retail business has slowed. We have all become accustomed to high double-digit growth from Amazon. But as things stand right now, Amazon's retail business is no longer much a growth business. And Amazon is not the only tech company whose growth has declined to pedestrian levels. Amazon aggressively cut expenses across the company amid fears of a recession. And so we begin the financialization of Amazon by Wall Street. And, if you follow this channel, you probably already know that tech companies are sensing weak macroeconomic conditions. This year, it is clear that Wall Street analysts are valuing profitability over prospective growth. As a result, unprofitable tech companies' shares are getting punished. The window for initial public offerings is effectively closed. That is why some Wall Street investment bankers are predicting a wave of tech mergers later this year. But, what do you think? Please leave us a comment below and hit the like button. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Please share this video on social media. Thank you for watching.